Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Government revenues up to October fell behind budget while expenditure marginally exceeded targets. The Economic Program Oversight Committee EPOC at its meeting today explained the factors behind the fallout. Chairman of EPOC Keith Duncan says the falloff in revenues began in August during periods of no movement.
Revenue and grants for up to October 2021 came in at $375 billion, behind budget by $2.8 billion, right? That's revenues and grants. Tax revenues came in at $311 billion, behind budget of $2 billion. However, compared to the previous year, up $49.7 billion up to the October 2021.
Non-tax revenues were also down for the period. The category amounted to $59.2 billion.
That was $0.5 billion behind budget. However, that's $25 billion above previous year. And that is due to non-tax revenue includes the BOJ dividend of $32 billion.
But the shortfall was still met with more expenditure as the government ramps up the COVID-19 fight.
And when we look at capital expenditure, we're basically online on target of $29.3 billion compared to a target of $29.2 billion, higher than the previous year of $1.9 billion. We, however, ran a fiscal deficit of $18.9 billion, higher than programmed of $15.2 billion. So a fiscal deficit was higher than programmed.
Mr. Duncan also says the country's primary balance was $59.5 billion.
Approximately $3 billion behind budget. Now remember, our primary balance is this surplus that takes down, that is programmed to take down our debt to GDP numbers.
And that, coupled with the growth in global interest rates, isn't a good sign as the country seeks to pay down its debt.
Interest payments amounted to $78.4 billion for the period, above budget by $802 million, and higher than last year's payment by $2.7 billion. Right? As the BOJ seeks to tighten monetary policy, and with the BOJ increases its policy rates, we see the rates on GOJ Treasury bills steadily increasing, moving the 180-day Treasury bill moving from 1.66% at the end of September to 3.92% in November 2021.
Mr. Duncan says this could have a significant impact on the cost of the country's debt and the risks must be managed, even though the outlook is fairly optimistic. Let's head to the currency markets. Authorized dealers are selling the US dollar for an average $154.76. $120.93 is the going rate for the Canadian dollar, $206.83 for the pound, while the euro is trading at $177.20. The JSE index declined by 1,265 points, while the junior market index gained 5 points. Advancing today were medical disposables and supplies, JMMB Group 7.5% shares, Community and Workers of Jamaica deferred shares, JMMB Group 7.25% variable cumulative redeemable preference shares, Epley Caribbean Property Fund. Now on the losing side were Everything Fresh, Jetcon Corporation, Cargo Handlers, Stanley Motor and Caribbean Assurance Brokers. And that's the Business Day. I'm Javon Key. Stay with us. Regional and international news are after the break.